It is 5 o'clock Eastern Time in the Annuity Bat Cave in parts unknown. My name is Stan, the Annuity Man, and one question I have for you is, are you smarter than an annuity agent? I got a lot of emails from some pretty gamey people out there that saying they were smarter. Just they had it in them to email me that once we sent them the invite, and of course I emailed every single one of you back that no, you weren't. But no, actually you are in most cases. But welcome. This is going to be a fun one. If you have some questions, go ahead and type them in. Jimmy.Direct, my co-founder of Annuities.Direct, is going to be wielding the board here and overseeing the chaos. But before we get started, Jimmy, why don't you walk them through this wonderful site called Annuities.Direct, the ultimate disruptor of the annuities industry, the future of how annuities will be purchased. Take it away, Jimmy Dot.
All right, I want to welcome everybody as well. Annuities.Direct really is designed for you, the consumer, to be able to run your own quotes, get your own information. The site is obviously constantly being upgraded and changed as we gather all the new content. You can go to Go Direct News right here in the menu system, and when you go to Go Direct News, it's going to bring up all the previous webinars, all the previous podcasts that we've published, and any other pertinent data that we've published in near term. So you can always see all of that. That is also under revision. We're going to make it so that you can sort through by topic to find the things that you want. So that'll be coming in the near future. If you want to get a quote, you just go to Get a Quote, and you can run your own quote there on the page. And if you want to ask a question, you can go to Ask Direct, and you can email a question to us about any topic relative to annuities, and we'll be happy to answer those. Generally, we try to turn them around within 24 hours if possible, unless it's a weekend, and then Stan only works part of the weekend, so it depends. But
I just won't tell anybody what part. I mean, that's the fun part. Jim, if they want to talk to me, if they are that brave that they really want to have that kind of abrasive conversation about annuities, how do they do that?
They can actually go into any of the websites, SPIA, DIA, QLAC, or MIGA, and if you will just go to DIA as an example, and you can go into where it says DIA facts or more information, and if you want other DIA options or how to buy a DIA, you just click on there, and how to buy a DIA will go through the 9 points. One of those is that I want to talk to somebody directly, which it says what happens if I have questions, and you click on it, and that'll schedule at a time with Stan, the Annuity Man.
How about that? How about that? 30 minutes of annuity love with me on the phone. It can't get any better than that. So with that, Jim, let's jump in. Let's do some IQ testing out here. If they are smarter than the annuity agent, I'm assuming that a lot of people have been pitched some bad stuff, and a lot of it right now is if you have a sprained ankle, a sore throat, a cough, a sniffle, or hurt back, your agent is going to recommend to you an indexed annuity. It's a one-size-fits-all for them because it's the highest commission, and since the Department of Labor has announced that they're going to start regulating these things, it's going to ramp up even more. Let's talk about indexed annuity. I call them indexed annuity unicorns. These products were developed in 1995 to compete with CD returns, and that's exactly what they do. Beacon Research has done research on all indexed annuities that's been issued, and the average rate of return on that accumulation, that uncapped side that everyone says out there that's uncapped, it's not, is less than 4%. So you're going to get CD returns. The fact that these annuity agents are saying market participation or market upside is actually illegal, because an indexed annuity is not a security as of right now. It's actually a life insurance product. Now, going back to the premise of are you smarter than an annuity agent, let me just answer this, and you're going to say, oh, now it makes sense. To sell an indexed annuity in most states, you could literally start a cram course to take the exam on a Monday, pass the test on a Friday, give a bad chicken dinner seminar on a Saturday, and then sell an unsuspecting retiree an indexed annuity on a Monday. That's it. You need a life insurance license. That's all you need. And for whatever reason, the insurance industry is defending that practice. That's getting ready to go away. But again, once again, in the next 18 months until the DOL rule is implemented, it's going to be a free-for-all. Jimmy, what are some of the things that you see as well on the index side that just kind of makes you laugh and out there people should be laughing at?
Well, one of the challenges I think that we all have around the indexed annuity universe from my side of the table is that, indexes were not created for annuity contracts. Annuity contracts were to provide income streams, they were to provide guaranteed principal, but they were never really designed to be an index type product, meaning that they were benchmarked to some index like the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ. So just the oxymoron, if you will, between an index and an annuity, the two don't go together. And as you said, they were really created to compete with CDs in a low interest rate environment. And that's essentially what they are and what they do. So as long as you understand what you're buying and understand what it is, you're on the right path relative to getting guarantees, but don't expect it to perform a miracle.
Well, and here's the other thing. When that index annuity gunslinger is starting to pitch that too good to be true product, you're going to be smarter than that index annuity agent, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you're going to ask them the following thing. Every day, 1 day per year, you're going to ask them, which day do I get to lock it in, and what do I do the other 364? The answer is nothing. You get to lock in the gains once per year. The other thing you ask is, can the company change the rules on how that index gain is credited to the account without talking to me or the agent? And the answer is yes. Now, that person's not going to know that as well. And then if you really want to be smarter than the annuity agent, have the annuity agent explain all of the index choices in detail and give you examples of how they work. I will guarantee you that they cannot do that. It's easier for them to say market upside with no downside or market participation. It doesn't work like that. So you just got to be smarter than to believe the hype. So that kind of, one of the things that Jimmy and I always laugh about is a lot of these index people will talk about these products as hybrid. I actually went on a tear a few years ago writing about the made-up word hybrid, to the point where one of the national guys that runs these TV ads and radio ads actually had to put an asterisk and say a hybrid's an index annuity. A hybrid's a plant. Okay, a hybrid's a car. A hybrid, I even saw the other day, Jimmy, I saw a mattress company selling hybrid mattresses. Hybrid is not an annuity. What hybrid, when an indexed annuity person says hybrid, they're trying to sell you a shiny thing. And hybrid means there's an attached rider. That's all that means. Nothing more, nothing less. There's no hybrid that automatically shifts and creates and adapts to market environments, Jimmy. There is no such thing. Okay, index annuities lock in gains 1 day per year. Index annuities can have attached riders that have annual fees for the life of the policy. Index annuities can have bonuses and things like that you should not put a lot of weight on. But the hybrid thing, the fact that a lot of these agents are creating these panacea pitches. One of the guys on TV says, he never even says annuity. He says, none of my clients lose money. We always participate in the market. Blah, blah, blah. What they're talking about is an index annuity, and then when you get them on the phone, they'll use the word hybrid. So if you really want to just blow the top of my head off, use the word hybrid. So how are you smarter than an annuity agent? You know for a fact that there is no such thing as hybrid. Jim, weigh in on the word hybrid.
I don't know if I could even weigh in after that dissertation.
Absolutely. I was on a diatribe there. I mean, that's just crazy.
Well, I think that the real, to me, what you start to see is people try to use the phraseology hybrid because really an equity index annuity was an attempt, if you will, to combine a fixed annuity and a variable annuity and give you a guaranteed floor. Well, as rates have changed, some of those guarantees shift, the fees shift, a lot of things have changed, but it was an attempt at blending two different products, a very poor attempt in the end. But, if you actually break an index annuity down for what it is, it's really getting down to the guarantees within the contract that people are looking for, not the hybrid. They're looking for what it will do, as you are so famous for saying, and not what it might do.
And so if any of you call me and ask me what the best hybrid I have, I'm going to say Toyota. Straight up, and that's all I'm going to say. And hopefully you're smarter than that. So get in the same line, are you smarter than your annuity agent? Let's kind of go into the variable annuity side, which is kind of I'm not a huge fan of variable annuities. The only reason is if you want to buy mutual funds, and in the variable annuity world, they don't call them mutual funds. They call them separate accounts. But guess what? They're mutual funds. So if you want to buy mutual funds, go buy mutual funds. You don't need an insurance wrapper to buy a mutual fund. And what the problem I have, Jimmy, with variable annuities is the average annual fee for the life of the policy is 3% average on all the low variable annuities that are out there. Now what they do in the pitch is, and this is how you're smarter than the pitch out there, everybody, is they'll say, well, you got full, not unlike an index annuity, you got full market upside because you got the separate accounts, mutual funds, and then they attach a rider. They attach a guarantee to it. Here's what happens. The second that guarantee is attached to 99% of, I should say all because I'm sure it is, but 99%, just to be safe, of all variable annuities, when you attach that rider, they limit your mutual fund choices. Doesn't that defeat the purpose in the first place? Didn't you buy that variable annuity or considering it so you have full market upside and the guarantee? Well, it doesn't work like that. Remember, you're smarter than the agent. Why? Because you know that annuity companies have the big buildings for a reason. They do not give anything away. And the limitations of the mutual fund choices within that variable annuity limits any potential growth. Jimmy, you're very familiar with the variable annuity side. Weigh in on how people out there could be much smarter than the pitch that's getting thrown at them by the agent.
Well, I think that the first thing you have to understand about a variable annuity is that it is an investment. It's market driven. So everything within a variable annuity product is market driven, whether it's driven by the bond market, the real estate market, stock market. It's all equity-based products. So when you look at a variable annuity, you're dealing with a market, and the market really has no guarantees attached to it, which we've all talked about, that past results is not a guarantee of future results. So when you look at these variable products, look at them for the fact that they really are a structured that is an equity investment. They're structured in that way. They're structured to perform that way. And in order to do that, it's just like if you buy a mutual fund and you're going to pay a fee for the asset management component of a mutual fund, which industry-wide averages 1.1% per annum. So inside of a variable annuity, you're still going to have to pay that management fee on top of the contractual fees of any of the guarantees that they're going to attach to that. When these variable annuity products came out with riders on them for income riders, to me that's never what a variable annuity was created to do. A variable annuity was to take a mutual fund type investment and defer the taxation on it until which point in time you were ready to either annuitize the contract for lifetime income or until which point in time you wanted to take income out of it, and then you would pay your taxes as you withdrew the money. That's why variable annuities were created. They were never created for all these bells and whistles attached to them so that you could have guarantees around the stock market. Remember, the stock market doesn't have any guarantees, period, and to try to attach stock market guarantees to an annuity is just pure asininity from my point, and I made that word up, but I really believe it's just stupid.
No, and the other thing, too, to feed into the title, which is, are you smarter than your agent? When the agent shows you a variable annuity with an attached income rider, they're not showing you a competitive guarantee. The same type of rider, whether it's an income rider or whatever, attached to a fixed annuity is a better deal contractually. So if they're saying, no, this is the best rider on this variable annuity, that's just a flat-out lie. Riders are commodity products. In fact, annuities are commodity products, but the riders, which is the only thing that we look at with these type of products, what's the guarantee of it? You should be shopping all riders. Don't let some person an agent show you one or two companies. I mean, with income riders, there's 50 income riders you could shop for the highest contractual guarantee. So, be very careful out there. Now, a lot of you out there going, well, I've got a Fidelity, a Vanguard, no variable annuity. Well, you know what you bought? You bought the ethnic food section of your local grocery store. Fidelity and Vanguard are not competitive when it comes to annuities. They're great companies, great brands. One of these days, we hope there are brands as big as that. But here's the thing. their variable annuities have limited choices. If you want to go buy a no-load variable annuity, then go buy one. That's Jefferson National, jeffnat.com. We don't represent them. It's a no-load, but they've got over 350 choices, where Fidelity and Vanguard nowhere near that. Okay, so I mean, if you want to go buy a variable annuity no-load with $20 a month fee and have real tax-deferred growth, then go do it. Don't feel good and warm and fuzzy by buying a Fidelity and Vanguard when there's something out there like Jefferson National that really does provide that growth. So, you know, we laugh all the time about, well, you know, Fidelity does this and Vanguard does it. Listen, those are great mutual fund companies, but Vanguard offers 7 annuity companies. Fidelity offers 5, and of the 5 Fidelity offers, they're 5 of the 7 that Vanguard offers. So you're talking about, between the two of them, 7 total carriers. We love them. Nothing but great things to say. If John Bogle walked in right now, I wouldn't kiss him on the mouth, but I'd kiss him on the forehead. Great guy, but they're not in the annuity business. So with that being said, I think before we open for questions, Jimmy, I want to cover one thing. In the annuity DOL ruling, they have something called the best interest contract, the BIC, Jim, BIC. And what that is if you have a sociopath agent that's sitting across from you on the desk, and he'll sign off that your best interest is foremost with him. That sociopath agent will sign that. I'll guarantee he'll sign it and date it. It's worth the paper it's printed on. If you want to do something and be smarter than your agent, and if you take one thing away from this webinar, it's this. How am I smarter than my agent? Here's how you're smarter. When that agent pitches you the annuity product that sounds too good to be true and so good that you're going to call Janet Yellen and solve the problem, write down exactly what that agent says in detail, what it's going to do, the promises, the bullet points, the good, all this is great, all this stuff. Sign it and date it. Flip that page around and have that agent sign and date it too. I'm telling you right now, that's the best interest contract. Because number one, if the sociopath signs it, you got him. You can sue him, right? But they won't sign it because they're going to go, well, that's not really how it works. I know that's how you proceed. And what you're going to do is you're going to flesh out the truth. Okay, the other way to flesh out the truth is if you buy the dream, if you buy the unicorn, and you get the policy in hand, and you feel sick to your stomach, your mouth starts watering, call the company that issued the policy. Don't call the agent. Call the company and have them explain what you just purchased. And exactly how it works, and they will do that. Those internal people will do that. And remember, with annuities and annuities.direct, this is the one thing we love, is you can get your money back. There's a money back guarantee. There's a free look time period with the policy if you get it and want your money back. You don't even have to give a reason. You just say, my policy, here's the policy number, I need the free look at, send me my check. You don't have to even tell them why. It's that good. So even if you fall for chasing the butterflies while you're riding a unicorn and you buy these dreams that these agents sell and you don't have them sign a best interest contract that you create, you still can get out. So I think that's a big one out there, Jimmy. And that's truly, are you smarter than a new agent? You might not be, but if you do that one thing, you are, because you got them, right?
Well, and that's where I think when you stop and really break this down, to me, anytime anybody says anything, I mean, there's too many opportunities today to be able to, I mean, if politicians can speak on TV and we got fact checks while they're speaking as to whether or not what they're saying is completely true or not, a contract on an annuity product, whether it's an index annuity, a variable annuity, a SPIA, single premium immediate annuity, MIGA, doesn't matter. All of them come with a contract. You can compare what's said to what's in the contract. If what is said isn't in the contract, then it's not true, because the contract is the ultimate guarantee. That's why Stan walks around with a T-shirt on that says, I love contractual guarantees. You have to, at some point, be smarter in the process of fact-checking. This is your money. This is your life savings. This is what you spent your whole life putting your hard work out there so that you could attract money to yourself, so that you could provide the lifestyle you want in retirement or whatever you choose to do. But do not accept at face value sometimes all of the things that are promised in ads. Read the contract. you're given a contract. That's why there's a 10, 20, or 30-day free look depending on the state you live in. You know, that's why they have that, is so that you can read the contract and compare what's there. To me, that's where the rubber meets the road between the consumer and the salesperson. Is the consumer has to be smarter by doing a fact check. And then when you do the fact check, you're now in control. And that's what we all really want. At least that's what I want, and that's what I try to do, whether it's with my clients or whether it's down the road buying a TV or a car, is to check the facts.
Jimmy, line up the questions. I'm going to say one more thing before we start taking questions. Go ahead and type them in, and we'll go fast with these questions. You know, in my world with annuities, and Jimmy totally agrees with the stance that I laid the flag down a long time ago, is, you know, you buy an annuity for what it will do, not what it might do, the contractual guarantees. In their current form, indexed annuities and variable annuities, you should not be buying for market growth. I mean, if you're going to buy, like I said, the asterisk there is the Jefferson National variable annuity, no load. You can get out, you know, 100% liquidity. But at the end of the day, even that has limitations. Even that has 350 choices. It doesn't have all the choices. I believe that if you want market growth, I always tell people, I always ask people, Stan, what do you want the money to contractually do, and when do you want those contractual guarantees to start? Anytime someone says to me, Stan, I want market growth, the call is over, because it's not going to work with an annuity. And you can go buy an index annuity and believe the dream, and you can buy a variable annuity and believe the dream. It's just not going to work. Now, maybe the planets align themselves one year, but over time, you're going to get killed. And it's not going to work out the way you want to. And if you're honest with yourself, you're going to say you made a mistake. And by the way, the problem with buying index and variable annuities for growth, and it doesn't work out, when you attach that income rider, you're not going to be able to get out of that product. They design these products so that the income rider or whatever guarantee attached is always going to be higher than the surrender value or the transfer value of that annuity. So to be smarter than an annuity agent, read the contract. You know, what we will provide a specimen policy if you ask for it. Any agent on the planet can provide a specimen policy. If they say they can't, they're lying to you. In addition to that, you got the free look period. In addition to that, you can create your best interest contract. That's how you're smarter than an annuity agent. So everybody on this call, you know, all 500 and whatever are out there, you are smarter than an agent because you know how the sausage is made. You're not going to fall for that stuff. So with that, Jimmy, let's go through some questions. We're flying through this thing, man. This is great. Anybody got hit me with some questions out there?
I want to do one thing, Stan, that I have to do just for my...
All right. Oh, you're drawing. That's a nose. No, that's a triangle. Okay.
I'm going to draw. This is a teeter-totter.
Wow.
And teeter-totter has fulcrum pressure put on it from either side. And when you look at this, on one side of this, I'm going to, hopefully you can read my writing with a mouse here, is control. And on the other side is the word guarantee. And when you have an annuity contract, because some of the questions that are coming in, you know, are around this concept, and that is, this is my simple way of dealing with this that I explain. I mean, I grew up on the equity side. I've spent 32 years as a registered investment advisor, and, you know, so I've looked at this from the standpoint that, you know, people sell the dreams of the stock market, and why an annuity and how do the two compare to each other. And my view, when you look at guarantees, if you give up guarantees and if you give up guarantees, you also lose control of your money. From the standpoint, the market will dictate what happens to it. So you can try to control the return by investing into equities or real estate or any myriad of investments. You can buy options. You can do all those great things that people talk about. But there are no guarantees with that. The difference between that and an annuity is simply the guarantee. In order to get the guarantees, in order to have this positive, you have to have the negative of giving up control of the asset in order to get the guarantees back. It's much like Social Security. You gave your money to the federal government, maybe not voluntarily, but you gave the money to the federal government over your working career so that you got a guaranteed Social Security payment back. That's an annuity. And the same thing is there. So if you're looking for guarantees, that's where annuities fit in a portfolio versus the fact that we feel like we have to control. A lot of people pitch to use that word, a variable annuity or an indexed annuity to try to get you, the consumer, to believe that you can have the guarantees and the control. That's just
and
not
the growth,
true.
and the growth, and the growth,
So
and the growth. It doesn't
you have
happen.
to look at it from the standpoint, if you want the guarantees, you have to give up some of the control in order to get them. That's where an annuity product works. So I just had to get that off my chest, Stan. I'm sorry.
And I got one more thing too, because you just tore off a scab here on a call I just received, and I had to yell at the person, very gently, of course. This person said, Stan, I've been told that I can take income and the growth from my index, variable, whatever, will offset it. That's just flat out garbage. Now, maybe 1 year the planets will align themselves that it could, but it's not going to happen. Anytime, I don't care what type of annuity, and by the way, for my friend Ken Fisher, you can't say you hate all annuities. There's 15 different types. That means he hates all restaurants. It makes as much sense. But if you take lifetime income from any annuity type, you're going to draw down on that asset. Draw down in English means subtract. You're going to subtract from that asset. You're not going to be able to take a Jimmy Carter yield, peel off the interest, and not touch the principal. And if there's anybody out there on this call that believes that or has fallen for that pit, you're going to find out that that's not true. So why not just know it's not true going in? If you're going to get a lifetime income guarantee, know that you're going to draw down on that asset. You're going to, any income coming from an annuity is a combination of return of principal and interest. And we don't know what the return on investment is until you die. There's no ROI till you die. So don't make these things out to be what you want them to be or what they're pitched to be or what you dream for them to be. They are what they are. As I say on just about everything, you can't polish a turd, right? I mean, these are contracts. So let's get our expectations in line with contractual realities. Okay, that's enough of my soapbox, Jim. Hit me with a question.
All right. Of course, what if the guarantee of an indexed annuity is bigger than a DIA, for example, for income? Are those still bad investments?
No, they're not, but they're taxed differently, and that's a very good question. With an income rider, let's just look at it outside of an IRA. With an income rider, that income coming from that rider amount is going to be taxed at last in, first out, gains first, 100% at ordinary income. In a non-qualified account with a longevity annuity, it's an annuitized asset, which means it's a combination of return of principal and interest, which means that a vast portion of that income stream will be not taxable. So if you're going to look at income riders and deferred income annuities side by side in a non-IRA setting, you have to look at the real value of money. And in a lot of cases, most cases, the deferred income annuities beat it because part of that income stream is not taxable, where the income rider is LIFO, last in, first out, gains first, at ordinary income. So it really comes down to math. Once again, it comes down to math.
All right. Sounds like, that I should probably invest my money in the stock market versus an annuity.
If you want growth, if you want market growth, do not buy an annuity. Are we clear? If someone says you can participate in the market with no downside, they're index annuity gunslingers. They're lying, okay? You can't say that. These are CD products. If you want to buy a variable annuity, then go buy one without any riders in a no-load format, but I think you'd be better off just buying mutual funds straight and not wrapping it with fees. That's just my opinion. So here's the way that we look at it. If you want market growth, don't buy an annuity. If you want to transfer a risk contractual guarantee, then maybe an annuity fits, but you can't have both. You can't have market growth and the guarantee, but the reason that 75% of all annuities sold are index and variable annuities, unfortunately, is that dream is sold and it's swallowed in full by the people out there getting pitched that. You want to believe that's true. Everybody on this call wants me to tell. If I told you there was that product, all you would buy tonight. I'm telling you it's not there. It's just not there. If the product was out there that could give you market growth with no downside, even Trump would say that would be a great one. Even Janet Yellen would be smart enough to put her money there, right? It doesn't exist. It's a dream sold. Don't buy the dream.
And, all I have to do is put this up here, which is always my favorite thing.
Oh, my gosh.
Stan loves the stock market. I'm telling you, he loves it. Secretively, I'm just kidding.
Used to be there, so I get it. But what are you
But
showing us, Jim?
I mean, you have to decide that you're willing to live with that volatility and a lack of guarantee. So if you are, I'll be the first one to say jump in. If you aren't, that's why annuities were created. So don't mix the two together. They were never created to go together. So quit trying to put them together, I guess is my point. One, to the industry, two, to agents, and thirdly, to you as consumers, is they were never meant to be wed. They were always independent options that you have a choice of. Does that mean you have to choose one over the other? No, you can choose both. You can split money. You can put money in different buckets, as we all like to call it. But the fact is that you have to decide what you really want before you start, leaping out into what you're going to buy. Is there even a good reason to buy a fixed annuity, Stan?
Yeah, I mean, fixed annuities come in all different types. There's single premium immediate annuities. There's deferred income annuities. There's fixed rate annuities. There's traditional fixed annuities. There's fixed index annuities. So fixed annuity is like saying, Stan, should I eat at a restaurant? What kind of restaurant? What do you want? I mean, you can't group annuities into one. It's what do you want the money to contractually do, and when do you want those contractual guarantees to start? Answer those two questions, and then from there we can work on proportion, because one of the biggest mistakes that we see is people put too much money into annuities, and there's no way to time annuities as well. By the way, we do a lot of great podcasts, and one of the podcasts upcoming this month is with an index annuity person on the inside that actually works for the company. We're not going to be able to give his name, but he's going to give the internals on how this stuff works and really talk about how the sausage is made, what to really look out for. So, our podcasts are very informative when we bring in guests. We typically do that at least once a week, national guests, and you could go to that Go Direct News and listen to them. I would advise you to do that. But, we're going to still keep peeling back the onion. I think we're not negative against it. Heck, I'm the number one agent in the country. Annuities.direct is the number one direct-to-consumer platform in the country. We sell a ton of annuities, but we only sell them on the contractual guarantees. We only sell them for what they will do, not what they might do. Okay? We only sell them if you fully understand what you're buying. So yes, we are the number one salespeople out here on these, but we also know there are limitations, and we're not going to polish them up to make you think you're getting something that you're not. What we're trying to do now is tell you, you are smarter than the annuity agent. You really are. You just got to know the questions to ask. You got to know how the products work and how they were designed, so that you can say, okay, you've told me all of this, sign and date, they won't. Or you get the policy and you call in and you ask the company, this agent told me this, is that true? You at that point in time, you are in control. You are smarter than that agent. So that's the key for this webinar. We wanted you to be able to ask questions, but also for us to tell you what's going on out there and what's being pitched.
And, some of the comments that are coming in are interesting to me in that, some people feel like that we're trying to be negative about annuities in general. And I don't think that's the message here. I think the message is for you as a consumer to understand what an annuity was designed to do. It was designed to give you contractual guarantees. Regardless of the annuity you choose, they all have contractual guarantees. It's understanding what those contractual guarantees are, what they cost, whether or not they fit your specific objectives, and how you can use them to meet your personal objectives. What we're frustrated with, and it doesn't take long in the annuity industry to understand that a lot of these are pitched the wrong way. They are sold with rainbows and roses, when that's not really what they are. They're not equity products. They are not designed to be equity products. We can use the word index all we want, but when it boils down to it, an annuity is built to tell you what it will do and contractually what it will do. If that fits you, then by all means, I think that that's a beautiful thing. Because someone made the comment that it sounds like all the restaurants have bad food. Only if you go to the ones that have bad food or listen to the people who promote bad restaurants. Then you're going to eat bad food. But if you get good referrals and you get good food at good places, it's a lot easier to find. But take the time to educate yourself along the way. I think that's really the crux of the matter, and that kind of answers about 25 of the questions that have come in. But
by the way,
I think very
go
good
ahead.
here
Go ahead.
is that, you know, what are the annualized, or if you look at Vanguard, you know, as a variable annuity, what are the inception's returns net of fees? You know, so the question is, if Vanguard, you know, is it better to buy a variable annuity performance-wise relative to a fixed annuity?
You can't even answer that because I don't even know what funds or separate accounts you chose. I mean, that's a just, I mean, that you can't even throw the dart and hit anything with that one. It has the potential to, but if you made bad separate account mutual fund choices, then no. It really comes down to, do you want market growth or do you want guarantees? If you want market growth, go buy mutual funds. If you don't and you want guarantees, then maybe a fixed annuity works. By the way, and I apologize for interrupting, but you know, I have written 6 books, and one of the things that we do is I'll send them all to you for free, no obligation, no cost at all. I'll send them to you for free if you sign up. Jim kind of showed them where to do that. But these 6 books sell on Amazon. You can just sign up for them. I'll ship them out to you with my card. And I've written one on SPIAs, DIAs, MIGAs, QLACs, income riders, and then there's the beloved Bible of the Annuity Stanifesto. But all 6 I will send to you for free and under no obligation, no cost, just so that you can educate yourself and be smarter than that annuity agent. Guarantee if you read that book, those 6 books, you will. And they're quick reads. I mean, the product books, SPIA, DIA, MIGA, QLAC, are an income rider. I did write a book on income riders. They're 50, 60 pages. You can read them quickly, but it gives the full information on the product. You can either sign up on the site or just email me at stan@stantheannuityman.com and just put your shipping address, and I will send it to you, and we won't bug you, and there won't be anybody showing up at your door trying to sell you something like these other sites that do that. We don't sell leads. We don't do that. You know, we want you to be informed, and annuities.direct is all about you getting the information you need and the quotes you need to make an informed decision. And we encourage you to go to SPIA, DIA, QLAC, and MIGA, and on your own terms get quotes and shop around and look around and listen to the webinars and listen to the podcasts and shoot us questions, because we're here to inform you. And with this being the only direct-to-consumer site, the real legitimate one, the only one out there right now, you know, we're here to make this thing better. So if you got any ideas as well to how we can make it better, please do, because we are changing it and updating it all the time. That's what our conversations are all about. Any other questions, Jim? We've got a few more minutes before we're going to roll out of here for the evening.
Now we're getting some good questions.
There you go.
Why are more variable annuities sold than SPIAs?
A commission, straight up. There's no reason other than that. A lot of it, and because Jim and I, our background, we used to work for the big firms, you know, the big wirehouse firms. Variable annuities are the last place that agents or advisors or brokers or masters of the universe, whatever you want to call them, can make a commission. There was a day that you could make 5% commission selling a mutual fund, or you could make $400 selling a stock, or you could make 3% selling a bond, or blah, blah, blah. That's all gone. All of those fees have been compressed and shrunk, and it's now a wrap world. But the last place that an advisor at a Merrill Lynch or Morgan Stanley or Raymond James, and all good firms, by the way, where they can make a commission is with variable annuities. And so a lot of the pitches are they're just going through their book of business, and they're flipping people into variable annuities. And as Jim said, they're cashing out for retirement. We see that all the time. So if you're master of the universe who's been managing your stock and bond and ETF portfolio for years and years and years, all of a sudden wants to sell you a variable annuity to replace that, they're either trying to buy a car, they have a drug habit and they're in debt, or they're trying to retire, or a combination of all of those. Or they have kids going to private school. I mean, seriously, there's no other reason why, in my opinion.
All right, since we're on this page, I'll answer this question just because I can do it easier. Okay. The question is that, do I have to buy it through an agent off of annuities.direct, or can I do it directly to the company? The answer to that really is right here on this page, which is how to proceed with buying an annuity through annuities.direct, and it will very simply tell you how to do it. You just have to click on these plus buttons. It'll take you. You don't have to use an agent. You can actually do all of this process through here. It will take you through the 9 steps of filling out the paperwork. The one thing that you will have to do is speak to one of the assistants that are licensed so that they can walk you through the actual application to make sure it's filled out correctly, make sure the signatures are wet signatures
They're not
so
agents.
send them in, and that it can be signed off on and sent directly to the insurance company. So you can do it direct. All of it's right here on this page of how to do it. If you don't want, if you feel like you need help or you need to talk to an agent, then that's what Stan will be happy to walk you through that. So from my perspective, it's one of the only places that you can do it direct without having to deal with someone other than yourself to lead yourself through the process.
Right, and our administrative team, which is they're great. It's going to be a girl with a Minnesota accent because they're based in Minnesota. So our administrative team is based in Minnesota. So at the very end, the person that you're going to be talking with, who's a licensed assistant, not an agent, will be based in Minnesota at this point in time. So it might sound a little bit like Sarah Palin. I don't know if that's a good thing. But the bottom line is the reason that Annuities.direct has become so popular in a month, we're just floored, is because you don't have an agent steering you to their product of choice. You're choosing the product. You're making your own decision. You're getting your own information. You're getting your own quotes. And at the very end, you have a licensed sales assistant that's saying, okay, a couple more pieces of information and FedEx to FedEx, and we're done. The thing about it is the annuity industry hasn't caught up to us yet. We're waiting for them. They'll get to us, and we've told them we're waiting for them nicely. But eventually, it will be all direct. It will go straight. But right now, the industry itself is a little archaic, and they're not up to speed with the technology.
All right, Stan, you say to be careful about putting too much money into annuities. What percent or range is too much?
There's no percentage, and I know a lot of agents say, well, if you're 60 years old, then 40% goes in the market and 60% goes in it. No, you can't do it like that. Everyone's different. I mean, there's 85-year-olds that are trading futures out there. It really comes down to how much risk you're wanting to transfer. How much guaranteed income do you want, and when do you want that guaranteed income to start? So there's no perfect answer, but the way that Jimmy and I both approach annuities is you try to solve for the contractual guarantee with as little amount of money as possible. That's our opinion. Okay, so it's a non-correlated asset. It's part of the overall asset allocation, but it's not. When I say non-correlated, that means non-stock market. It's not a stock market asset. It's a guarantee. It fits beside your pension. It fits beside your Social Security. If you're buying a MIGA, that fits beside your CDs, and it fits beside your money market. It fits beside your Treasury, and fits beside some specific bonds. So, and by the way, index annuities are not bond alternatives. So if any agent shows you that one or pitches you that one, you're smarter than them. Look at them and just say, I'm going to call BS on that one. Never say that again, because that's stupid. That's just them trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Do you have a cutoff number on the Comdex index for pricing relative to a strong company?
It's a good question. Typically, I've said 80 and above. Sometimes it's 70 and above. You just got to look at the company. You can't be a total snob and say, I just need everything 95 and above. But you can look at the claims paying ability of the company. You can give me a call and say, Stan, what do you think? Jimmy and I have looked at the solvency ratios of a lot of these companies. We understand balance sheets. We can read them. But it really depends on what you're trying to solve for. If it's a MIGA short term, we're okay with a B double plus company if it's a 3 to 5 year piece of paper. If you're looking for a lifetime income stream, we're not going to do that. We're going to say, hey, we need to go higher that because we're transferring the risk for life, and you might live forever. Your wife might live forever, or your spouse. So it really depends on the situation. But I would say 70, 80 and above. It's interesting that question came up. Someone said, Stan, why don't you list the Comdex rankings of all the index annuity carriers? Because most of them are 60 and below. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. Now, there are some good ones. I mean, there's some that are in the 80s and 90s, but most of the hot selling ones that the agents are pushing, 60 and below. So be careful out there. A lot of them, are sketchy, and we got to be careful because remember, The guarantees are only as good as the company backing them up. Forget the state guarantee fund. Do not put weight on that. Buy the company for the guaranteed claims paying guarantees that they can back up, period. Don't say, well, I'm going to split it between these companies because the state guarantee fund's got my back. It ain't it's not FDIC, okay? So be careful. Do not put any weight on that. It's never been tested.
You mentioned that you have a licensed assistant. The question is, what license do they hold?
Well, they have a these are fixed annuities. MIGAs, SPIAs, QLACs, and DIAs are fixed annuities. So that would be a life insurance license within that specific state. So that's what it is. There's no securities offered on annuities.direct. We do not offer variable annuities on there now. Jimmy and I, we've been approached by all kinds of variable annuity companies, but we have yet to do that. So there's no security. So it's a life insurance license to sell SPIA, DIAs, MIGAs, and QLACs. It's a fixed annuity.
Of course, Stan, they're begging to know how you get paid then.
All great, good question. My wife gives me a check every month, and I look at it, and I know. The way it works with annuities, all annuity commissions are built into the product. The highest commission ones are indexed and variable, which is the reason that 75% of all annuities sold are indexed and variable. SPIAs, DIAs, MIGAs, and QLACs are simplistic because you can explain them to a 9-year-old child, and those commissions will range depending on the carrier. There's no uniformity, anywhere from 50 basis points to maybe 3% depending on what you're buying. Okay, so you won't see it taken out of your money. It's built in. It's invisible. I don't like that. I think it should be transparent. But this is the way the annuity business has been doing it forever. So if $100,000 in a SPIA, DIA, MIGA, or QLAC, and you get your statement, you're going to see $100,000. Did we get paid? Absolutely. But it's a one-time payment, and it's built into it, and it's pretty low in most cases. One of the things that we're doing right now with Annuities.direct is we're working with the carriers to lower those commissions so we could build that value back into the product. They're not listening too well right now, but I haven't truly raised my voice yet. I'm working on it. One more question, Jimmy. We're about done.
An IRA.
I'm sorry?
Should an annuity be purchased in an IRA?
It doesn't matter if it's an IRA or non-qualified. It's a guarantee. So the question truly is, do I want a guarantee inside of my IRA? Not do I want an annuity. Does that guarantee fit in my IRA? If it's a SPIA, does that income now guarantee fit in my IRA? If it's QLAC, does that income later guarantee fit in my IRA? If it's a MIGA, does that interest rate guarantee fit in my IRA? So it has nothing to do with the annuity. You're buying a guarantee. The question is, does the guarantee fit in your IRA or not? And you're the only one that can answer that. One more.
If income is the primary goal, why not put more of your retirement income into or retirement money into an annuity?
I mean, you can. It just depends on what your goal is. I mean, there's two ways to solve for income. Is you say, well, Stan, I got $200,000 in my IRA. How much would that produce? Or Stan, my wife and I, or my spouse and I need $2,000 a month. How much would that take? We can do either or. But here's the thing. There's no perfect answer, only sales answers, which aren't good answers, by the way, to your question. Because when these are things that if you have that in your mind, we probably need to have a conversation. And I encourage you to contact me because we have to look at the product. We have to look at the allocation. Should laddering come into play? What's the deal with interest rates? Should we stagger the purchase to hopefully catch better interest rates? These are questions that don't have perfect answers, but that we should discuss so that you can make an informed decision. So I wish I could give you a blanket answer, but there is no blanket answer because all of these, and because these are contractual guarantees, because these are transfer risk products and commodities at the same time, you can customize them. So it's a customized solution based on what you specifically want to solve for and the specific goals that you have for your portfolio and your family, really. So, Jimmy, close us up so everybody can go eat dinner.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to cover, obviously, with all of this relative to all the information. But, we provide all of it on the site. You can go look at annuities.direct. You can look at SPIA.direct, DIA, QLAC, and MIGA. Just to reiterate this, annuities are contractual guarantees. That's what they're there for. The products are there for you to learn to use or not use. It really is up to you. I'm not here, and I don't think Stan is here to try to push you into buying an annuities to educate you relative to what is there. The focus is for you to make the decision, not us. That, I think, is just a different approach from what we've seen around the industry. So if you have any questions, you can go to Ask Direct. We'll be happy to answer your questions directly. You can get a quote on the site under Get a Quote. You can go to the direct news and review this video or webinar. You can listen to the podcast or other things that we've put up there as far as material that are available to you.
And contact us for the free books. I will send them out for free in a really nice black bubble wrap package. They'll come perfect. You can read them and do what you want to with them, but they're free. Or you can go buy them on Amazon and make my wife happy. But we will offer those for free if you just, send us an email and say, hey, Stan, send me the books, and I'll do that as well. So listen, thanks everybody for putting us in your evening. Our webinars will continue. They're going to be at different times. Let us know what you thought of the 5 o'clock Eastern. Good, bad, the ugly. We change them up because some people say do them earlier, do them later. But what you're going to know is we're going to keep doing them. So good night to everybody. I really appreciate you joining us, and have a great rest of the week.